Hi, this is Akemi.
Hi, and I'm Dawna, and welcome to Bringing Spirituality into Life.
Yay. Okay.
Every Tuesday, Akemi and I get together to answer your questions live about how to bring spirituality into life. So we're here. If you're on with us, share where you're from. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So we've been connecting. We've been doing some projects together, training together. It's been fun, right?
It has. And I'm going to ask you how your day went yesterday and today, because I know you're a few hours ahead of me. But yes, how did your day go?
So, Donna, this is your future. I'm just kidding. I am ahead of time. So, yeah. So, what we have been doing is kind of refocusing our mind and trying new things out. And I've been finding out a lot of things that I have been ignoring. and but you know whatever I realize and whatever I get to know, that
Mm-hmm.
moment when I do, things do start shifting in a good way because I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing something that I've been pushing things away or trying to avoid or not to do, or maybe push myself down. Like all the conversations that I have been having in my mind has been opening up. And I kind of realized that I've been hiding a lot of things. So it's been a great experience. And the truth is, I do have more conversations in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And, but that conversation I have in my mind is not like a correction to me. And that's the fun part that I've been
Mm-hmm.
realizing. And I'm sure the word spiritual has been not really haunting, but it's been in my mind for um like really been in my mind for this couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is I've been more aware of things happening around me than ever. But I've been focusing on myself more than ever. So that's
Mm-hmm.
been the funnest and that's been the most amazing experience that I've been having. So how's yours?
Wow. It's been amazing. To give you guys a little bit of what Akimi and I are
Yeah.
doing is that we get up in the morning, we have a focus activity for maybe 2 minutes that we do, just focusing the mind before we start our day. And then at 4 different times at 9 a.m., 12 noon, 3 p.m., and 6 p.m., we take a 2 to 5 minute break from whatever it is we're doing. And we just refocus the mind, becoming present in the moment, whether we're focusing on our breath or something that we're touching. And so my day today, I started filming at 8:30 this morning with my first podcast
Mm,
recording. I had a couple of Facebook Lives. This is the second one. I had a couple other recordings in between. I had a writing project that was due that needed to go to the graphic designer. I also had some clients mixed in there. And, it was just a full day. And I've worked pretty much from 8:30 and now it's 8:30 again. I've had a 12, 13-hour day already. And normally by this time I'm really tired. But what happened for me today is just as I was getting to that next 3-hour break, I could feel, oh no, I got to get this task done. I could feel the energy rising in my body, a little bit of stress coming in because my mind is task oriented. And I do have timelines that I have to meet and deadlines. And I would just stop. And then I would, at the next available moment, I would just go. I'd leave the room, sit down and focus just on whatever was going on in the moment for those couple of minutes. And I would come back and the stress, the tension left my body. I was able to finish my task faster. I got more things done. So in between all of that, I got the laundry done. I got my dishes done.
woohoo.
I got to
Wow.
talk to a couple of friends. And then I was invited to join a chat in Clubhouse on technology. And because I had finished all the other things I was doing, I got to go and do that. And I'm like, I got more than I ever have. And I still have energy and I am still happy because the stress did not enter all the way into my body because we stopped it every 3 hours. So I'm impressed. I thought I got a lot done before, but wow. So that's where I'm at today.
Yeah, exactly. And I started to realize how our spiritual aspect of ourselves and this physical body needs to connect. And the way to connect is actually focusing on the sensations and, and the things that are happening with your body. Like, and that's been amazing. And now I know why people say ground yourself, this is a grounding method. The person does not use the word, but now I realize, yes, to be aware of everything you touch is grounding. So I'm like, this is awesome.
I just thought the timing that we were given and that we were following every 3 hours was incredibly significant. Now, some of mine went a little bit longer. Some of mine might have been, well, not too much shorter than 3 hours, but at least every 3 hours. And it really did shift and change physically how the body felt and physiologically, and it cleared out my mind. It really did.
Yeah. So as a human being living here on this earth, we really have to focus on what we feel. It's not our feelings. It's what we physically touch and feel. Yeah. So all the senses do matter. So it doesn't have to really be feel, touch. It can be smell. It can probably be many things with the sensations that we have in our body. But I've been enjoying it.
Yes, me too. And I guess for everybody who is listening, set a timer on your phone for every 3 hours to signify that it's time for you to take a 2-minute break and just focus on a sense, however you want to focus on it, and see if it doesn't clear out and refresh your mind for you. Because it's the first day for me and for Akemi, and we're already feeling the effects of it after one day of taking this mental break. And I find it amazing. The other part that I find is like with the sense of touching things, you develop your intuitive senses and your psychic senses stronger, and you start noticing and paying attention to subtleties you didn't have before, especially with breathing. And if you were to breathe and you could feel the temperature of the air when you breathe in and breathe out, I had never felt that before, unless I was in a sweat lodge. That's a little different though.
That's different.
But I was just really impressed, and I'm like, wow. And you can really develop some of your own psychic or intuitive senses that way as well. It's just another way to bring spirituality into life and being present with who you are in the moment.
Yeah. So I've been up all night, right? From 12 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. It has been a challenge. But since yesterday, actually this is day 2 for me. So I spent the day yesterday and I had the night shift, and now I'm starting my new one today. But as you say, I'm not too tired, but I was able to fall asleep quicker, because when you start having crazy hours, you start to lose track with your sleep, because you're having jet lag. You can be a little overly excited, so you can't fall asleep. It didn't happen today. So I'm like, I am so refreshed. Actually, I may have slept too much, but same hours, but totally different sleep. So calming down your body by just feeling. So now I can imagine why we carry our babies around all the time when they're babies. I mean, when they're little. A long time ago, they say in Japan, they told us not to hold our baby so long because they'll be they'll be used to be held, so you can't put them down. It's kind of true though. But now
Mhm.
I can see that touch is very important, how they smell and feel relaxed and feel reliable to someone, that all those sensations, because they're hyperly sensitive when they're babies,
They
right? They
are.
think everything's
Mhm.
happening. They actually see the sound. So when you think about it, by just holding them and knowing that they have a sense of like security makes a difference. And I'm like, oh my God, this little thing that I have just started a day ago, it has been
Uh-huh.
teaching me so many things, opening up many receptors, opening up many things. So
Mhm.
we do recommend you guys, everyone, if you can, if you have that thing about not timing yourself, maybe before you go to bed, or maybe when you get up, start feeling yourself, maybe focusing on your breath. I think some people call it mindfulness meditations or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. And when I had lived in the ashram and even studying with the yogic healer, there's different ways to focus your senses.
Mhm,
So one of the simplest ways is if you wanted to get a white piece of paper and then put a black circle dot on it, and then you just focus your sense of sight on the black dot for
mhm,
just a minute or two, then that will also do the same thing. That's something very, very simple. One of the things that I love doing, though, and I have one on my desk, is you guys know me for the healing heart stones here.
mhm,
And so it's a touchstone. So I keep it with me and I'm constantly rubbing, touching it, holding it, activating it. And it's just a way to awaken those senses, to feel it and to connect with it. So you can use any object for a sense of touch. If you wanted to focus your eyesight, if you wanted to focus your breath, you could just breathe. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Um, I know we agreed and we were going to be doing, between 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. What happens for me is I start to get into that zone, and then it's like I'm there and I don't want to leave and come out of it to go back to work because I just want to be there because it
mhm,
feels so amazing to me.
mhm. Yeah, it was different than meditation. That's just the only thing I can say.
It was
Yeah,
because you're focusing a sense
yeah,
instead of
focusing on
just, oh, I have a thought. Thank you.
yeah, just like, okay, if you have a thought, focus on your senses. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
focus on my senses, okay. But then it was more effective than whatever I have been doing, so yeah,
I
but I
agree.
guess in
I
the
agree.
loving human body is really
Mhm.
feeling your senses is part of your human body, but
Mhm.
that actually connects your soul or spirit to your body, and you will be more aware of what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, makes so much sense.
And I also think too that by doing something approximately every 3 hours and doing it, it builds. So
Mhm,
then it reiterates, like rebuilding a muscle that, okay, now we're going to do this again. And it grows each time that you do it. And I think that repetition throughout the day is also important by
mhm.
by doing whatever you're focusing on for those couple of moments.
Right. It was reminding me of school. We had, like, time schedules for school, and we go by it every day the same way,
Hmm.
you know? Especially in Japan, it's always the
Yep.
same. We do have, like, 2 different times, A and B, but still, it's more likely the same, right?
Hmm.
But I was just realizing that pacing, some sort of a schedule inside you and you disconnect and then you connect again, disconnect, connect again. In between, you have like 5-minute recesses. You can kind of play or 10. But I just realized that's a very great way to train your mind to
Hmm.
really focus on something because they actually tell you that you can actually focus on something for an hour or maybe 45 minutes, but it doesn't last so long. So
Hmm.
that intervals that we've been doing and, yeah, just like everything started to fall into part and like, okay, so that's why when we were little, when we're children, they actually make us go to school and do this and this and that, and I thought that was, forcing. Well,
Mhm.
not now because I understand why, but when we were little, we feel like, "Oh, I'm forced to do this, I'm forced to do that," but that's your mind telling you something, you know, by doing all the sensation thing, I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I know why we
Mhm.
wanted to run away from it. Oh, no, now I know why we wanted to do this and that and not this." Learning myself more, understanding it, but it's really fun. Gosh, I can keep it going because it's been so much aha moments.
I think it'll also, you said something that is also, there's a truth in it when you said the beginnings and the ends, because every time we have a mental break, and in school, you remember the beginning part of the material and the ending part of the material more so than you do in the middle. And by giving yourself the mental breaks, you're refreshed when you're starting, you can be refreshed when you end, you get that break in the middle. And I think that is a part of that key to that success. And that because you're having all of these little successes along the way, it can build up to the big success of, I got twice as much done today as I anticipated. Normally, when I look at my schedule and it's booked and it's back to back and overlapped, I'm totally stressed because I can't be in three places at once quite yet. I'm working on it, but
Mhm,
not quite yet. And today, having the same type of schedule, it just flowed. But I did give myself those breaks.
mhm.
That was the only difference.
Yeah, yeah. I know we don't have a question here written, but I know
Mhm,
that there is someone who has a question.
mhm,
A lot of things happening in this person's life. Um, I just wanted to kind of share. She's she's messaging me right now, so let me. Okay. So everything that happens in our life that we think that we are so frustrated about and think like it's stuck or not going forward.
mhm,
Well, I've been realizing that anything that happens in our life, like since yesterday, this is so new to me, so I'm going to share this. Um, it's like once you go into that state of being trapped in one emotion, sometimes it might be difficult to get out of that
mhm,
little, bracket. But when
mhm,
you start realizing that you have been, like, you weren't there before, you actually trapped yourself because of, emotions happening and everything's happening, and you feel like it's haunting you, like it's going
mhm,
wow, 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 right? But this way of this sensation thing that we've been doing since yesterday, if you start focusing on another thing and
mhm.
you kind of have to kick yourself out for a bit, you
Uh-huh.
know. But that kicking yourself out actually starts to allow you to look and see why you were trapped there.
Mhm,
Sometimes we don't have the means to, like, we don't know the way to look at it because we're so trapped. But if we start creating that moment of pause, that
mhm,
pause will give you that moment of going back to, this is not mine. This is something
mhm.
that's happening outside me, and I'm just taking it in, but my body is okay,
Yes.
right? So, and then you're gonna start training your mind that you are okay, then you are in that situation, and I am sure things are gonna start changing.
Mhm.
But sometimes you get trapped, so you don't really realize.
Right.
Yeah, and you have that method, that tool in front of you, but you just don't get it because you
Mhm.
feel like you're trapped. So, I recommend you do the little touching sensation thing and then
Mhm.
see what happens. It doesn't have to be in intervals. If you feel like you're trapped, start touching yourself, or if you feel like,
Mhm.
because it's like a baby that's been held, like if you hold a baby Once the mother holds the baby, you kind of feel a little relaxed. And then the baby starts crying. I know because I have 5 kids. Every single kid was the same. And
Mhm.
what was same was when they start crying, if you hold them, and then if you kind of get the right spot of, kind of not petting them, but, kind of tapping them or, whatever they like, they stop crying because they feel relaxed. They're focused on the tap instead of
Exactly.
whatever was happening, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the interesting things, no matter what it is that you're feeling, if it's stress or frustration, those types of energies that you can start bringing you down, if you were to stop and make that mental break and do the touch, what it does is it acts as a disruptor in the brain, and it stops the pattern of the stress coming because you just focused on something totally different, and then the stress can dissipate, and then you can look at it again with fresh eyes. So by taking that mental break based on how you feel, or if you were doing in interviews intervals, then it acts like a disruptor in the brain pattern, and it stops the creation of that energy from fully coming in. So you can take a look at it and release it, and then move forward in a healthier, more peaceful mindset.
Hmm. It felt like mastering my mind in one
Mhm.
aspect, right? Because you can fool your mind. It does feel like fooling your mind in the beginning, but once I started to do like the fourth and the fifth, I'm like, oh no, this is not fooling. It's just refocusing, but still,
Refocusing.
it is refocusing. But in the beginning, it felt like this is not going to work, or
Mhm.
okay, okay, what do you mean? Touch myself? But then all of a sudden you go, oh, I get it. We are refocusing so we can cut that cord or cut that
Yeah,
route
that
and make
energy.
it into
Mhm.
going into the different route. And I actually learned this from a different workshop that I went before. Actually, I translated that workshop, but the person was talking about the mind, how
Mhm.
the brain works with the long circuit and the short circuit. So we're just kind of shifting that around of
Mhm.
the senses, but it's so important to do that because we're so used to doing one way than the other,
Yes.
right? Yeah, it makes so much sense. And
So
wow, I hope this person is listening right now. There he is.
so I just find it, and the whole process so far, that we agreed to do this. We've on our first and second day of following this process that we were introduced to, and it's like night and day. I can't really explain it just by doing that brain disruption throughout the day and refocusing the senses. So it'll be fun and curious to see next week
Oh
how
my
it goes, because we've agreed to do this for a period of time.
God.
We've agreed that as we came together, that we were going to do this for 6 or 7 weeks, continuously every day. So I think
Mhm.
it'll be fun next week when we do our live and we can see how we look. Because I think there's going to be some physical changes as well in our energy, because our energy around our body is going to be changing. The energy inside of us is changing. We might be making different decisions. We might start looking different each week as we go along. So it's going to be kind of fun to keep track of that too.
Yeah, and I get to watch. You get to watch.
Yep.
Everybody gets to watch. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, so bringing spirituality into life, Dawna and me. Akemi is going live on Facebook, and actually, I have this live on YouTube too now. So anyone who wants to watch again, you get to watch again because it's on YouTube now.
Yay!
Yay! And hopefully, I'll get the channel straightened out. So it's still on my Astro Hearts channel, but we are actually talking about how we experience having spirituality into life. So, if you have any questions, feel free to write in the comments here, there, and there. And we'll be happy to answer your questions as well. So, any questions?
And
Any?
Just want to shout out, say hi, say where you're from. Do that as well because we'll say hello to you back.
Yes.
I'm I'm also curious
Mm,
about our children because that's what a question that we get often about how do you do what we do with children
mm.
and bringing spirituality into life, and where you and I had started doing that mind disruptor. How would it be, because a lot of children are home online schooling, mine are, what would it be like if I put them on the same schedule as me and say, no, we're going to sit here and focus on something too? I wonder what that might do for the children and what they will learn by doing that instead of 24/7 school.
Okay. So, can I share something?
Yes.
Something that has been changing and shifting in my home. So, I have 2 teenagers, and then one is turning 19 pretty soon. And then I have a 6 and a 3. Well, 6 and a 3, they kinda come and jump on me and everything, so they're not really focused or anything yet. But things started to change, even with the 6-year-old. But the 15 and the 13, I've been playing this. They kinda understand English, but really do or yeah, there's kinda in between. But when I was playing this thing that we listen to and focusing on everything, they started to calm down. And I'm sure my energetic field has shifted because of how I focus changes.
Mhm.
And now, so we're talking really spiritual stuff right now. So now it's like if I do this and I focus, I was sitting in the living room just playing this. I mean, they heard it, but not really because they don't understand. But they started to calm down. One does not even get upset. She's been free for almost anger free for almost, let's say, 24 hours.
Mhm.
That's amazing. She's been in that, little moment of
Uh-huh.
angry about everything. She hasn't been angry for 24 hours. And the other one, she's been coming and cuddling with me, which she doesn't do all the time. So
Wow.
it's not just they're not doing it, but they're kind of sensing the changes because of
They
how I
do.
send out the energy. And then the 18-year-old, that's the fun part. She understands what I'm listening. So she was up last night in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break. Let's focus. I was actually just telling myself what to do. And she started to do it together. And she said, Mom, thank you. I'm awake now. And I get to do my reports. She's doing her final reports for the year.
Wow.
Lot of work, but she's like, "Oh my god, mom, I can focus more." And she went back to work. So I have experience of
Wow.
I know, that was a wow. I am so happy.
I'm amazed because it just shows you know, how much of our energy is going out that we don't know the energy or the frequency or the emotion or the feeling that's going out. And when it shifts and changes, other people feel it and notice it. I often relate it to talking about pheromones because some people through scent you're attracted to and other people you repel, but you don't always know what the pheromones smell like because it happens so on a subconscious level. It's the same thing with our energy field and our energy body. And if we are in that state, and by doing this, and the children are picking up and they're responding differently, it's the same process. So that's pretty amazing to have that experience.
Mhm. Yeah. So we'll see what happens because it's only have been 2 days for me. This is day 2. It's been day 1 for you. We'll
Yes,
see.
I finished my day one, so I get to start tomorrow morning.
Ooh.
Um, if you're wondering, I'm going to share this different ways to focus your energy. One of the things I just got done doing earlier, gosh, today's Tuesday, so it might have been over the weekend. I had some more meditation videos uploaded onto my YouTube channel, which is just under
Mm.
Dawna Campbell. It's just my voice with my own recorded meditation that I wrote. It is tuned to a solaflago frequency.
Yeah,
More
yeah. 5 till 8. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but I use different ones for the different types of meditations. And then there's just a visual graphic on the screen. So you can just go to the YouTube channel, push play on one of those, and close your eyes and listen to the words and allow that energy to shift. So there was one on releasing anxiety and depression. There was one about feeling and being worthy of love. There's a couple others that are on there. There's the one for creating thought form energy, how to instantly create. So there's about 5 or 6 of them on there now, and I have a couple more to record and do. So those are free for you guys, so use them. So if you want to practice or tune to a sense or feel the emotional energy shift and change in you, go use them, because that's what they're for. They're on average usually between 5 and 10 minutes, so they're not very long. They're short.
So it's Dawna Campbell?
Yep, just my name. Just type that into YouTube. It'll bring up my channel.
Without a space or with a space?
With a space, I think.
Space? Okay. Because
if you type it into the search feature, it'll come up.
It'll come up. Okay. So everyone, you know where to go.
Yeah. They're getting loaded onto the website. So here in the next week or so, I should have them up on my website for people to use from there as well. But if you click on it, it'll take you to YouTube.
So once you're done, you're going to share it. So we'll kind of
I'll put it in the comment section.
Yeah, let's do that.
Where to go? I'll put my YouTube channel in there, and you guys can use the meditations. It's one thing that I get asked to do, so I'm getting them done.
Yay! Yeah. Bonus. Thank you, Dawna.
So.
Okay, it's time to go now.
I know. It always feels like we get warmed up when it's time to go.
Okay. So hope to see you all next week, same time.
Thank you for listening and joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.